All praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Chakwadash, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Shalom, salutations to the hopeful elect that's fighting the good fight of faith and truth, in sincerity and wholeheartedly. Shalom to the Aqua, which is the women believers. Shalom to you. All praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. I want to talk about pleasures of sin for a season, which is a scripture. So you have to think about this. Let's just get straight to it. And I think about this all the time. We understand that this world is temporary, but most people don't. So it said, by faith, Moses, when he was born, was hid 3 months of his parents because they saw he was a proper child, which means the Hebrew child. All right. And they were not afraid of the king's commandment. By faith, Moses, when he was come to years, this is Exodus 1 Exodus 1 and Exodus 2. By faith, Moses, when he came to years, he refused to be called the son of Pharaoh's daughter, choosing rather to suffer affliction with the people of the Most High than to enjoy the pleasures of sin for a season. Okay? Now, you have to understand, he was put in a position where he can be second in command in all of Egypt. All right? But he chose his route. He ended up smoting and the Egyptian taskmaster. And guess what our people did? Who made you ruler over us? To the point that Moses had to flee because he was scared that Israelites was going to snitch on him. He just did something for you because the taskmaster was, putting a whole bunch of strain on you. But esteeming, now this is the point though, and this is how we view things. Esteeming the reproach of Hamashiach greater riches than the treasures in Egypt. Now, the spiritual correlation is that, as it says in Revelation 11:8, the great city which is spiritually called Sodom and Egypt. So we in Egypt all over again. Egypt just means the house of bondage. So this is the place of our captivity. We're still here. So we in Egypt again. And within Egypt, in the flesh, you have a lot of pleasures. So it feels good unto you. But that's the deceitfulness of sin. That's a whole nother video that I want to do. But anyways, do you understand the type of riches that Moses had access to? We don't even have access to that. So think about you when I don't give a damn if you was in a Fortune 500 company. You wasn't on Moses level. Okay? He could have rubbed shoulders with Pharaoh himself. Okay? The sister of Pharaoh found him. It's either a daughter or daughter. Salakia. So imagine that. So he would have grew up as basically Pharaoh's grandchild. So he passed up millions, billions. None of us ever had access to that. Most of us was, like I always say in the world, get along, going along to get along. You don't know the truth. You don't know any better. So you just try and get out here and make it. Do what you got to do. You didn't have the fear of the Lord in you. I believe that, most of us had morals, to a certain degree, that you wouldn't do certain things, but when you don't have Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, you are susceptible to doing anything. That's why I don't trust nobody that's not in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. I can love you. I can have a conversation with you. The scripture says in Matthew 10:36 that your enemies, your foes, is of your own household, actually. Matthew 10:36. So, but for he had respect unto the recompense of the reward, because there is a reward. There is an expectation. So pleasures of sin for a season just to be destroyed at the end, I don't think so. I think not. Now, at the end of the day, it's not up to us. The Lord have shown mercy upon us. But, since the Lord it is showing mercy upon us, we got to, take it in with honor and humility. Okay? Because this is an honor. This is a privilege. All right. You always got to look at it that way. So it says, by faith, he forsook Egypt. And that's what we do. We use the world not as abusing it, for the fashion of this world passeth away. 1 Corinthians 7:31. All right. So by faith he forsook Egypt, not fearing the wrath of the king. Who is the modern day king? Who's the modern day Pharaoh? Esau, Edom today. So, like Matthew 10:28 said, fear not him that is able to kill the body, but not able to kill the spirit. The spirit is the life force. When this body drop, the spirit go back to the Father. Esau can't do nothing after that. So the only thing he can scare you with is death. If you understood what death really is, then there's nothing that he can scare you with. Because the Lord is the God of the living. So when it comes to the resurrection, Yahweh Shai, he got put to death, and then he entered into his glory. So some of us going to be martyrs, and we're going to enter into our glory. Some of us is going to not be martyrs and still enter into the glory. Okay? It's all about being in Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, having faith. So that's who we fear. We fear the one who create life and death, and who can keep you alive and make you dead. Okay? And if he make you dead, he can raise you back up. A man can't do that. Only a man that's in Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, because our apostles did it. Okay? But through that name, though. So it says, for he endured as seeing him who is invisible. The Lord have not manifested himself to us physically yet, but that is going to happen in the chariot, the strangeness of our salvation, as it's saying, Wisdom of Solomon 5:2. So, pleasures of sin for a season, it's going to bring a lot of people to their death, because they don't get it, that there is a judgment. Seeing thou a man that is hasty in his words, there is more hope of a fool than of him. And the scripture said that a fool said in their heart that there is no God. So that's what the scriptures equate a fool. So a person who's always talking and think that they know everything, there's more hope of a person who say that there ain't no God. He have a better chance of being convinced than a person who think they know every damn thing. And that's majority of Israelites. They never shut the hell up. They never listen. They always got an opinion about something. You don't know nothing. If you knew something, you wouldn't even be in this captivity. Okay? At least the Lord gave us a light while we in the shadow of death, darkness. Okay? So we have a light at the end of the tunnel. What about you? Your whole world, your whole hope is centered around this world and pleasing your flesh. You don't want nothing to do with the Lord. But the Lord, it's all good. Okay? Because you continue to be a fool and have no hope. I think that's 26:13. Nope. Is it 12? Yep. Seeing thou a man wise in his own conceit, there is more hope of a fool than of him. See, all of this leads to your flesh. See, your flesh, it only cares, like I always say this, is that whatever feels good unto you, that become the truth. If you have success in wickedness for a while, that becomes the truth. The scripture said, let favor be shown to the wicked. This is the wicked world. You can't expect. The scriptures also said in Isaiah 59:15 that when a man, depart from wickedness and go into the way of righteousness, he make himself a prey. Okay? Because you living in a wicked world and you're trying to do right and everybody else is doing wrong. It's easy. The scriptures also say in Ecclesiasticus 32:21, be not confident in the plain way. That plain way is going the way that everybody else is going. Okay? But that's you wise in your own conceit. I had a cousin. I can't say I had a cousin. A cousin that he was in the streets. And I asked him one day, I was like, you don't ever think you're gonna get caught? And he told me, I ain't gonna ever get caught. I got this, basically in a nutshell. And I believed it for to a certain extent because it's my cousin and I know his business and I've been around him for a while, and he been doing it for over 15 years very successfully. I even seen how his operation is ran. I'm his cousin, right? So, but that ninja ended up going to jail. Okay? So the point is that you can never think, and this is before I was in the truth. I was a young man, obviously. I was like 20, I think 20 or 21. But so from a child, because he's my older cousin, from a child, I see him money, girls, cars, all of that, jewelry, taking trips, got people handling business for him. He never really touched anything. So I was like, yeah, he might be on to something. But see, before I knew, as the scripture said, before I came into the sanctuary of the Most High, forgot judgment come of the Lord. Okay, you could think that you have everything all together, but hey, all it takes is one moment. All it takes is one moment, and that's what's going to happen. Okay, so one of my favorites, man. This is one of my favorite scriptures because this is how people are living. And guess what? That's how my cousin was living. So there is a way that seemeth right unto a man, but the ender of are the ways of death. So the pleasure of sin for a season, it seems right unto a man. So they continue to keep, indulging in it until they get caught. And let's get my other favorite scripture. This scripture right here and this scripture right here is a top 7 scripture for me. Because sentence against the evil work is not executed speedily. Therefore, the heart of the sons of men is fully set in them to do evil. So the Lord is long suffering. He gets you at the right time. Okay? When you unexpected. So this is not a game. All right? So now let's get into our hope. And Lord, when the Lord continue to be with us. So it said, the trial of your faith being much more precious than of gold that perisheth. All right. So because you got a lot of people, it's all about chasing the bag. And the Lord is so, man, he's so brilliant. Like, you can't even put an adjective on him. So the best what I can come up with is brilliant. But remember, Haggai 1:6, it said that you put of money in bags filled with holes. That book is written 2,500 years ago. And then we end up coming with that term in this generation, talk about I'm chasing the bag. Okay? Come on, man. So anyways, it said, though it be tried with fire, might be found unto praise, honor, and glory at the appearing of Yahushua Mashiach. So the Lord tell you, you're going to go through things. I'm chastening you that you don't be judged with the world, because there is a judgment. And, that's why sin is very appetizing for most people, because the difference between us when we going through something, we rely on the Lord and the Lord get us through, and it's hard. It's not easy, but you have many devices when you are in the flesh. You could do drugs. You could do, a whole bunch of things that get you temporarily over the problems that you're going through right now. We don't do that. So it said, whom not having seen ye love, and whom though now ye see him not, yet believing, ye rejoice with joy unspeakable, full of glory, receiving the end of your faith, even the salvation of your souls, of which salvation the prophets have inquired and searched diligently, who prophesy out of the grace that shall come unto you. So there is an expectation, and this is why one of my favorites too. This is the pleasure of sin for a season. So it says, envy not the glory of a sinner, for you know it's not what his end shall be. So there is a glory in sinning, but you lose at the end. So you can have money, you can have a whole bunch of materialistic things, you can feel good, all right? But delight not in the thing that the ungodly have pleasure in, but remember they shall not go unpunished unto their grave. Okay? Scripture says in 2 Corinthians 5:10, for we must all come to the judgment seat. And then verse 11, it says that we persuade men by fear the terror of the Lord. So, yeah, and the scriptures also says in Proverbs 9:10, the beginning of wisdom is the fear of the Lord. All right. So there is an expectation. So let's end it on that. So the pleasure of sin, for a season, which season means temporary, gonna cause a lot of people death. Love not, let not your heart envy sinners. Hey man, look at them. They losing. They losing. We winning. In the eyes of the world, it look like they winning and we losing. But there's no good that's gonna come unto the wicked. There's so many scriptures. All right. So let not your heart envy sinners. Be thou in the fear of Yahweh Bashmi all the day long. For surely there is an end, and your expectation shall not be cut off. Okay. So F all that having pleasure of sin for a season to feel good temporarily. I want everlasting life. That's what this what the scripture is saying. Your expectation should not be cut off. That's everlasting life in a kingdom where you on top and you never have to worry about sorrow, mourning, death, affliction again. All praises to Yahweh Bashim Al Bashai. Seek ye out the Lord while he may be found. And Shalom.